Can you get into that a little bit about how amyloid could potentially be uh, helping our brains or maybe defending our brains from other threats? Is that
Yeah,
right in that
absolutely.
or yeah?
Yeah, yeah. And what we might want to do is put this into the context of it's almost like a switch flipping,
Yeah.
right? So our bodies are either in degenerate mode or
Yeah.
in regenerate mode.
Yeah.
And we want to be in that healing regenerative mode where we're making synaptic connections.
Yeah.
What we don't want to be doing is getting into that mode where we're shutting things down. We're in attack or defend mode. We want to be in that regenerative, like we're creating the way Dr. Bredesen, my mentor, talks about it. He's like, if you think of your brain as a country,
Mhm.
if that country, my brainistan, is at war, if we are in attack and defend mode, that's where our resources are going.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of signaling happening from the top, right? Saying shut down or protect,
Yeah.
defend, attack. And then if we can switch modes, then we can actually get into that synaptogenesis. We can start creating new connections. We can spend effort, time, energy, resources, recalling the name and thinking through complex issues. So when we think about amyloid, what's happening is that when we basically turn on amyloid, it is in that defend mode. Amyloid is antimicrobial.
Mhm.
Tau proteins, phosphorylated tau is antimicrobial. So these things are basically launched in an effort to protect us. They're not there to give us Alzheimer's disease. They're there. Dr. Bredesen over the weekend, he had this really phenomenal analogy. So he's like, imagine your brain as a neighborhood of 10,000 homes. If you have an invader come in, say a criminal, just one,
Yeah.
you don't want to pull out the SWAT teams and shut all the schools down. You want to basically like just keep that invader like in their home, right? You want them on home arrest or whatever it's called. Now, if you have 500 come in, if you have a lot or 5,000, militants come in, then you want to shut everything down.
Yeah.
Amyloid is that home arrest, right? It's trying to just contain any of these little invaders and protect the 9,999 homes in our village, in our brain, right? So it's an appropriate response
Yeah.
to a relatively benign invader, right? So what we're trying to do is wall it off to
Mhm.
prevent it from infecting the rest of the brain.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now, we can also put things like blood sugar and dysregulated metabolism. What are they going to signal? So infections, right? Infections start to signal this attack defend. Toxins start to signal attack defend.
Yeah.
And that signaling is like we all have heard in the context of COVID about these cytokine storms.
Yeah.
So you can think of amyloid and p-tau almost as kind of cytokines in the brain,
Yeah.
right? They are they're these messengers that we're going in that attack defend mode.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's such a great way to put it. And those metaphors, they really help because for so many years we've heard that amyloid's the issue, but in reality, it sounds like you're saying, it's much more complex, and there needs to be more testing and kind of a bigger flashlight applied to see, okay, why is the amyloid showing up in the first place?
So, like, I have a plant behind me right here. And if my plant were dying, I wouldn't go to my plant and be like, oh, there's misfolded proteins. We need to take out the misfolded proteins.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would think to myself, this is a complex organism. Does it have enough water? Does it have enough light? Does it have enough nutrients?
Yeah.
Does it have toxicity?
Yeah.
Does it have too much of something?
Yeah.
And that's what we need to apply to the brain. So if we jump to blame amyloid or p-tau,
Yeah.
we miss the opportunity to ask, why is there amyloid?
Why?
Why is there p-tau?
Yeah.
Even inflammation, I'll hear some people say, oh, well, inflammation is the problem, or mitochondrial dysfunction is the problem.
Why?
But why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. 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 That's so great. It's all about framing, and you and Dr. Bredesen and um all of you, the functional medicine, Dr. Jeff Bland, that framing is just so powerful.